Okay, so we have some very interesting news from Viprin now that 2.2 might be delayed to December, but it is super duper close and it's gonna be dependent on whether Google Play is gonna take his time or, is he gonna update the game instantly. And Viprin decided to give us a little bit of news about the update. And there are a bunch of things that we have not seen before, a bunch of images and stuff, and a bunch of really cool information that I think you guys would also find informative and useful. So here we have somebody asking that the levels, if there are going to be any 2.1 levels that are going to be rated in 2.2, and Viper said it's 100% going to be the case because in 2.0 the levels got rated in 2.1. The levels from 2.0 got rated in 2.1. So basically you don't have to worry about your levels not getting rated if 2.2 comes out because of the amazing new levels that are going to come. And he thinks that there are not going to be tons of amazing levels instantly after 2.2 comes out because people would have to use a bunch. You'd need a bunch of moments to first learn how to use these new features and triggers. To which we also have a bunch of news. Okay, so this one actually is kind of wild. You know, in Geometry Dash, how some text boxes some help boxes do absolutely nothing. For example, if you want to comment on a level and yeah, it's absolutely no help. And for example, for commenting, this is no issue at all. But for example, if you want to, so basically, if you put a trigger and you want to know what it does, you click on this button and you see absolutely nothing, which I find kind of funny. But when it comes to really building a level or something, it should be helpful and this button should do something. And so it took Viprin a whole month to write all of them. And now in 2.2, basically, every text box in the game has several sentences, and it should be relatively helpful now. This is massive W for Viprin this time, because this is really, I would hate writing these things as well. And that he has taken this job is actually huge respect to this dude. And here we have Colin asking if he has also renamed some of the input field text meanings because some of them are just val x, val y, tr, bl, which means top right, bottom left. But some people would have a little bit of help from that, and he said no because that would take a little bit of time to fix because yeah, they don't want to waste any time at this point, and also yeah, they don't want to go over every single name and rename it. And here we have a new trigger. I'm not entirely sure if this is a new trigger because we already have this 0. And I think it's the same thing, item counter, and then we have the item ID. And in here we have counter label. I don't know if this is the same thing, but in here we can see that he has selected the object, and this menu we have seen before. And the level in the background is the sneak peek level. And there are a bunch of interesting things in here. You can basically align your text on the center, left, or right. I think if you want to align it in the center, just click nothing of these two. And you may be confused about what these ones do. And this time they actually have like these cool colors. It displays a set counter value depending on the setting. By default, it displays the item ID. So by default, it functions like the one in 2.1. And if you use time counter, you can make it function as a timer. So if you use this one, it's basically like a timer for platformer. The main time shows the exact game time. I think this is basically how much time you have spent in the whole level session. Like not only the attempts, but also like the attempt sessions. I'm not quite sure about that. Use points to show linked collectibles. I think this one, if you want to just function like coins, for example, when you collect like the coins, the number increases or stuff like that. Attempts, of course, displays the attempt. I'm not quite sure why the attempts would be useful, but I mean, we have it, so why not? Left and right, aligned changes, alignment of the display. Yeah, so basically these guys, very cool stuff. I'm really, really happy about these help. And I'm really happy about these help boxes. Thanks to Viprin for that, we finally have a functioning thing. He said he wanted to, it's been a plan for a while, and he doesn't really enjoy doing that, RobTop. And he had a little bit of pain writing all of these things, which is why I want to give him a huge respect. And here this guy asked if RobTop has asked Viprim to also make the levels for the main or the platformer levels. And he said no, all of them are made by RobTop, which I think is also a cool thing. And the beta testers basically just find smaller bugs and give feedback, which I think is fair enough. because the main levels should always be just from Rub, because he always explains the features pretty well. Okay, and this is also a very interesting one. So this guy said that finally the triggers are gonna have some help in them, and he said no, some of them are very complex and we cannot just fit the information inside that text box, so you would have to visit the editor guide, which was made mostly by Oronic, a beta tester of 2.2, which explains everything in depth. I think this is an awesome thing. And he said that the PDF file for the editor guide is super duper long. And he said that it contains a bunch of pages for the new creators and also a bunch of new pages, like 70 for the creators that already exist that want to learn more about the editor. And they are about 12 chapters, which I think is absolutely insane. Here we have actually a very cool looking editor guide picture, which actually kind of explains what this setup keyframe system does. So this is like the introduction, and I think from this alone we can take so much, because look at this. So this is the first page. Let's say this is maybe the second one, because there's one prior to that perhaps. And let's say this is the second page, and on the second page it says the table of contents, and the basics start at page 6. So that means that the table of contents is so long until like page 5, and page 6 would be basically this one. So there are a lot of chapters and a lot of these smaller chapters, if you want to call them that, which I think is very amazing stuff by Oronic and also by Viprin W on that. So we can actually go ahead and read this stuff because I think it's pretty interesting. The keyframe system allows you to create precise animations using movements, rotations, and scaling with a single trigger. This is pretty cool. So now we don't have to, spam the scale, rotation, move triggers anymore, which should make levels way more organized. This is done with several keyframes which can be freely modified in turn. We have seen this in RobTop's video showcasing the keyframe system. We will be going through all the options by creating an example. Assume we want to animate a cube moving and jumping over the spikes. We will first create the cube we plan to animate and assign a group ID to it, as well as the spikes the curve will interact with, as seen in figure 10.2. Okay, I'm not quite sure how this is gonna work, because they also say that these ones also should have a group ID, so perhaps that's like the center point of where the cube should jump. I don't know about that. But yeah, overall we have a very massive editor guide, which I think is gonna take so long to read. And he confirms that the editor is super duper massive. And finally, rest in peace for these guys. Good luck. Know you, and just know this is gonna be a very rip moment for these amazing text boxes that we are sadly gonna miss. But for that, we're gonna get a way better and reasonable text boxes, which I'm really excited for as well. We're gonna read through all of them and make individual videos for people that just wanna watch. And yeah, I'm gonna be, of course, making a tutorial for every single trigger, explaining them all in depth and also in action. And yeah, I think this is the end of this video, so make sure to slap that sub button, also the like. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. And yeah,